in Matthew 15, verses 17 through 20, it says, "Don't you see that whatever enters the mouth goes into the stomach and then out of the body? But the things that come out of a person's mouth come from the heart, and these defile them. For out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false testimony, slander. These are what defile a person, but eating with unwashed hands does not defile them." This is Jesus talking to Peter about what the religious leaders were telling them, and they were saying that you had to only eat certain things because they were clean. When really Jesus is talking about how we are not supposed to follow our heart. We are supposed to deny that. A very common saying in society is to follow your heart, follow your dreams. And that's the exact opposite of what we are called to do as Christians, because if we follow our heart, we tend to follow our sinful carnal desires, which end up leading us down the path that ends up leading us down the wide gate versus the narrow gate, and versus the narrow path to Jesus, right? And to salvation. It also says in Matthew 16, starting in verse 24, it says, "Then Jesus said to his disciples, 'Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will reward each person according to what they have done.'" So it's another thing. He's saying you must deny yourself, right? That is also denying your heart, denying your desires, because we can be led down the wrong path by our desires. That's not to say that, if God's will is leading you a certain way or a certain path, that's not your heart. Our heart tends to lead us away from the Bible and away from Scripture. So if you notice that you are starting to fall away from Scripture or fall away from the faith, that might be because you're following your own desires or following your own heart. I saw something a while ago, and it said that if it's pulling you away from God, it's not of God, or it's not from God. So we are not supposed to follow our heart. We're actually supposed to deny our heart. It is our heart. I think Paul mentions it, but I'm pretty sure Paul mentions it and says that our heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? We're not supposed to follow our heart. We're supposed to follow God and his will, not our will, right? Our will tends to be the exact opposite of what God's will is most of the time, especially if we are falling away from the faith, or if you're weary and you don't understand where you're going. That can happen. But we have to be sure that we don't want to always follow our desires, and we don't always want to do things to suit our own desires, because that ends up leading us down the wrong path. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and God bless.